Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. Hopefully now we can have the conversation. What is your reaction to what the president had to say?
Look, thank you so much for the opportunity. Firstly, I just want to appreciate the work that Patriots have done to actually push the president into actually addressing the issue after months. Actually, some have been trying for years to get him to acknowledge this as a crisis, and he hasn't. And finally, he's put it as something that's important to his agenda. First of all, I do want to acknowledge that we are happy that he's acknowledged some of the things like, tuck shops being taken over by foreign nationals. He's acknowledged the issue of some of the crimes that they do in the country. He also acknowledged the labor markets, which has been now bombarded with people who are cheap labor coming from all across Africa to replace South Africans and break immigration laws. However, I do feel like the president has got a misdirection when it comes to the issue, where he's looking at it as a political issue with people trying to gain political power, or these groups are rising because they think that they want to be in politics. I can safely assure you that personally for myself, I have no desire to be in politics. And for me, a safer country for our children is what would make me happy. But here's my biggest problem. I don't think the president was properly briefed. I don't think he took time to go to Home Affairs, to go to the border, to find out the extent of the damage. Because the issues that he's raising as solutions are impractical. And I can tell you now that some of the things, if not all of them that he said, are not going to be implementable.
And for you, what's the one thing that's not implementable? Particularly, I'm looking at the fact that he speaks about a crackdown on, immigration and prevent people from coming into the country illegally, stop and root out corruption, especially when it comes to the immigration system in part. These are some of the issues. So which for you are not implementable?
The president doesn't understand the immigration crisis. I think from what he was saying, I could figure that. First of all, he says that they're going to increase deportation and increase courts. That's not the issue. The current issue is they don't have enough transport to deport people. The border, the drones that they have are not enough. The border is operating at 25% capacity. So 75% of our border is open. If you're addressing an immigration and porous borders issue, you cannot ignore the fact that our border is only functional at 25%. Currently, at the ports, there's only one scanner machine that can scan what's coming in and out of our border. On top of that, he talks about being able to increase immigration officers on the ground, and says they're the only people that can do that. And there's only 800 immigration officers in the entire country. How does he envision being able to properly do deportations and verifications of these people? On top of that, the Home Affairs system is not currently responding to the fact that people can go with their cell phones, those 800 immigration officers with their cell phones, and go and check those people. So those people have to be taken to Home Affairs to be checked, et cetera, et cetera. That's how the process goes. And he's talking about refugees and all of these things about refugees. Currently, we have more fake refugees than we do have genuine refugees in South Africa. And he's not talking about how do you get rid of the current refugees that you have before telling us about refugee centers. Because putting those refugee centers there is not going to help if you've got documents. So tell us how you're going to get rid of the people who have documents that are fake currently.
And Jacinta, very briefly, before I let you go, there's something else that the president speaks about, which is something that I'm keen to hear. How are you, as the group, March and March, going to be dealing with this? The president speaks about the fact that he wants to make sure that the verification of documents, I know you're speaking about the documents and the fake documents, etc. He says that this should be done by those who are within the law, in fact, who are part of government, who are authorized to be able to do this. How then do you ensure that you do not have people who are not part of the officials who are then going to try and take the matters into their own hands?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question. So here's the problem that we have in South Africa. Currently, the government is trying to deal with the immigration crisis without the people. And I can safely tell you, if they wanted to make sure that there's no violence, that people are abiding by the laws when dealing with the immigration crisis, they should have formulated a plan that includes communities in getting rid of illegal immigrants. And now here's the problem with what the president is saying. In Section 24 of the Immigration Act, in the Criminal Procedures Act, we are entitled to enforce citizens' arrests. The president cannot simply ignore and disown that, because that is not what the law says. The law gives us the powers as communities to say, hey, here's a criminal, come and take them. So he can't say that South Africans must completely not be able to assist in the immigration problem. He should have come up with a way that says that South Africans, you are the ones that live with these people. Some of them are in your houses. The law doesn't allow for you to assist illegal immigrants. Here is how we work together with the communities to get rid of illegal immigrants. On top of that, he tells you that he's going to be imprisoning labor employers who are employing illegal immigrants. But currently, legislation doesn't allow him to do that. He needs to be the one that tells us, instead of the 10,000 labor inspectors, he should have given us 10,000 immigration officers. That speaks of someone who has an idea of the magnitude of the problem that he's dealing with.
Appreciate your time. Jacinta Ngobese Zuma there with March and
Thank you
March.
so much.